Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about Muse, my brand Vieve's latest collection. I'm going to dive right in because I'm sure that some of you have seen the palette already, and the lipstick and the lip liner. We're going to be focusing on the palette today just because I love these videos and it's been a while since I did one. So we're going to do 3 looks, 1 palette. Should we just dive in? I've got all my base done. If you like the look of it and you want to know what I'm wearing, I've listed everything down below for your viewing pleasure. And then let's get into it. This is the Muse palette. If you're a fan of Vieve already, you won't be super shocked with the layout and the look of this palette because I've followed the same mechanic as the Essential palette. So this is the Muse palette here. This is my personal one, so it looks a bit battered. I've been using it for quite a while. The sleeve is the same. All the ingredients are on the back. We've got the same huge pans. We have Muse written in my handwriting. Then here's the palette. We've got Muse written across. We've got our same gold hardware that everybody knows and loves. And then let's just get into it. This is the Muse palette. I had so much fun making this palette. These tones. Another thing that I've not really spoken about, but naming shades, it's difficult, but it's one of my favourite things to do. I actually did a swatch this morning, so I'll pop that on the screen. I actually created a video on how we create our swatches as well because I am super proud of them. I'll pop a picture here so you can see all the shades swatched, and obviously you're going to see every single one of them on my eyes today as well. The shade names are just so nice. Just to go through them really quickly, we've got Peony, Finery, Mystic, Regal, Beau, Divine, Love, Source, Merlot and Velvet. So it's quite romantic to me. And then I know that a lot of you have the Essential palette already. For a little shade comparison, here's the differences. So there's not one shade that is replicated. The gold in the Muse palette is slightly more yellow based, and it's also a different formula from Thea and Carrot, but it is the same formula as Glimmer from this palette. So just to talk briefly about the formulas for a second, the matte shadows are all my formula from the Essential palette, so it's the same. The shimmer formulas in all 3 of the shimmers on this palette are the same as the formula of Glimmer in this palette. I love Carrot and Thea from this palette, but I listen to your feedback, and generally people like a shimmer that is just easy to whack on, and that's it. With Carrot and Thea, my favourite way to use them was put them on top of a glitter glue, but I know that not everyone has that, so I'm just going to have to come up with something else. If you want super sparkly glittery makeup, I'll just have to make something. I'll just have to make a new formula in another product. We have our 7 mattes, our 3 shimmers. I just think that is all you need. And especially with the shade differences between these 2 palettes actually work so well together. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to create 3 eye looks using the Muse palette. We're going to start from kind of lighter to super intense and heavy glam makeup, because it's easier for me to take the light one off because I'm going to be doing my makeup, taking it off, doing my makeup, taking it off. Another thing I'll say before we actually get started, the visuals for this campaign are very special to me. If you've been here since the beginning, our campaign was very 90s feeling. For me, it was just everything. For this campaign, we've definitely gone more 80s. 80s makeup with the super strong blush and the blown out eye, and the purple eye with the red lip is iconic to me. So have a look at the Vieve Instagram to see the images. The photographer we used for the Muse campaign is actually a really great friend of mine, Rebecca, who also shot my home wedding. So I don't know if any of you remember the picture, I'll pop it here, of me and Jack sitting in McDonald's. Rebecca's just great. She really gets the whole divine feminine energy that I wanted for this campaign, and I couldn't have asked for it to turn out better. I honestly was beside myself the whole day. So yeah, let's zoom in and get started. Okay, so eye wands. I'm going to use my eye wands as a base, and I'm going to use eye wand in sand first because we're going for a nice natural look. Can you see how oily my natural lids are? That's why I need these. And this eye is going to be super easy, super quick. And actually you can use loads of different shades in the palette to create this exact look, and it will be different every time, which is quite nice, just by changing up the tone. So I'm using sand all over just to cancel out my discoloration and give me a nice natural sticky-ish base. Not too sticky, not too thick. And I'm just gonna pat that out And I'll go into technique a little bit in this video, but it's mostly about showing you exactly what this palette can do. Let's jump into the palette. The first shade I'm going to use is Peony. So Peony right here is the lightest shade in the palette. You can use it and build it up for brightness, but I actually love this colour as a kind of almost a translucent colour. I'm going to dip in with my big brush. And I'm just going to do a gentle wash all over. You're not going to get too much colour by doing this, but it is going to just set your base in place if you want. So I said I'm going to use every single colour in the palette today, here today, in front of you. So the next shade I'm going to go in with is Love, and I'm going to give my eyelids some love. I'm just tapping in. I don't tend to really tap off any excess. I really go in, I go tap tap just softly, and then I just go straight in. So I'm going to go in the crease. And what we're gonna do is just a really soft everyday eye. If you've got green eyes like me, you will absolutely be obsessed with, and actually blue eyes, and actually brown eyes. I love pink on brown eyes, right? I'm just gonna be here and I'm gonna say that. And I'm also really aware that I've just said every eye colour with this palette. It sounds like a really bad QVC trick, but I mean it. So we're getting a nice wash of pink. Like the Essential palette, these shadows are really beautiful and buildable. So I'm gonna go in and just slightly intensify that. Just because it's so soft, I'm just gonna blow it out slightly. And this is actually really similar to one of the looks that I did on Barbara, one of our models on the day. We started off with our makeup quite light, and then we built it right up for the main film. But I did this, pretty much this exact makeup on her, and it looked so beautiful. So there we go, we wash pink. And then I'm gonna go in with the shade Divine. This is slightly pinker if I show you actually compared to Glimmer. You can see that Glimmer definitely pulls more golden, whereas Divine pulls more pink. It's the perfect balance of pink and translucent and kind of like more like a pearl. Then it means it's never going to look bright pink on your eyes, which I really like. I wanted this to be able to be used as a brown bone highlight and an inner corner highlight as well. So I'm going to go straight in with the brush, and I'm not going to spray it. I'm just going to chuck it right on just so you can see. Super soft, buttery shimmers that are just really easy to use. Ta-da! And I'm going to go right into my inner corner, like so, like that. Other side. And I'm going to just take that right in inner corner. Just with this big brush, I'm not being too precise. Literally, I know that this is so easy and natural, but for the purposes of the video, I think that's me, honestly. Maybe I'll just touch my brow bone with Divine, just to show you. I'm right into a highlighted brow bone again. I wasn't for a while. Chuck some mascara on. So this is Urban Decay Lash Freak, as per flipping usual. I'm just gonna put a nice coat of this on. I mean, I'm wildly aware that I'm just about to try and take this off, so forgive me if I don't build them up. And I'm just gonna stick to top lashes at the moment. Common, that's about it. I think we're done. Let me zoom you out so you can have a good look. So I just think this is so soft, so pretty. It took me 2 minutes, maybe 3. So this is the first thing. Using these 3 shades here, super easy. And I mean, you could use any of the shades really instead of Love. If you wanted more of a kind of cooler crease, you could use Mystic, or you could use Bow. I'm trying to do this backwards. What do we think? Rate it out of 10. Maybe don't actually, I'm far too sensitive for that. Okay, I'm gonna take this off and then I'll be right back. That was so easy, and I just want to shout out LMS White Flower Eye and Lip Makeup Remover, off like that. And I've also put my base in sand down again. Let's zoom you back in. Let's do a spotlight eye. I was just thinking, I was like, let's just do it. We're gonna use gold for the center. We're gonna use Finery for the center. And then I'm gonna use a little mixture of Source Merlot. And that's what we're gonna do to create this eye. So I'm gonna go straight in to Merlot, which is just this beautiful, reddy, purple, plummy goodness. And I'm gonna start by placing that in the outer corner. I'm looking down into my mirror and I'm gonna just pat, pat, pat. Oh, hello dog. I just heard a dog come in my room. Hi Juno, you okay? Did you eat it all? Was that why? I think a dog just got her dinner. And then when we're chilling here, I'm gonna just gently wiggle these ends. I don't go crazy round with my eyes too often just because my eyes are round pretty naturally. So, pretty round naturally is what I meant. So I'm gonna slightly wing it out. Okay, and then while we're here, I'm gonna take a smaller brush. I'm gonna go back into the shade Merlot again, and I'm just gonna get that right in there. It's been a while since I did a spotlight eye, but it really is the flipping best. And of course, I'm using these colors, but you can do this using any colors. And I'm just using that brush to gently start blending that in. I'm going to go in with the same brush as before in the shade Source, just here. That gorgeous, I called it like a dark pink terracotta. And I'm going to use that on the sides just to start blending out. And the warmth of that is just going to help us blend. And you'll notice that for this, I didn't set the eye wand, I just went straight on. It's a bit of a rule if you want your shadows to look really pigmented and really stick where you put them. If you want them to really stick on there, apply your shadows on top of a sticky base. But if you want a not as impactful but easier job, then just use a wash of powder first. And then whatever goes on top of the wash of powder, it will just glide on like silk. And now I'm going to swap into a bigger brush. I'm going to take the same colour Source and I'm just going to really gently buff the edges. I'm only taking a tiny amount of eyeshadow, like see if you look, tiny amount. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Merlot straight under my lash line and I'm pushing the brush into my lash line and then I'm letting it kind of go flat to my face, and then what that does is it just helps you blend. This is a bit of a grungy daydream. If you want that to be super soft, you can just buff. Let's go in refinery now. So I'm going to go in with the gold, and this time I'm going to spray my brush and I'm just going to use good old-fashioned all-nighter and I'm going to pop that right in that spotlight. And I love to bring my spotlights right up to the brow. I like to bring the shimmer up that high anyway. Do you know what was so cool when we launched the brand with the Essential palette? Because this is only our second palette. We've been going nearly a whole year and this is only our second palette. I got so inspired by everyone else's looks using the palette because, you know, I've been playing with this by myself for a pretty long time. I've created, you know, loads of different looks, but there's always so many that I've never even thought of that you guys all think of, and it really is the coolest. There we go. So I'm just using the edges, just gently going over, and then I'm going to go back into my little blending brush and I'm just going to soften the sides. I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of velvet, which is just here, and I'm going to just slightly darken out the very inner corner and the very outer corner. So just here and just in here. Nothing that's going to give us harsh lines. Do you know what would actually be nice as well? A little bit of finery on that inner corner, just underneath, just here. I'm going to go away and chuck some mascara on and then I'll be right back for the essence of time. There we go, and I'm going to take a tiny bit of the shade Love and I'm just going to use that to really buff this shape into my hairline. Right, that's me out. Cool, isn't it? I can see it from far away now and I just want to add a little bit more velvet just to this outer corner. And actually I'm going to add a little bit of that underneath as well, even though I'm just about to take it all off. I freaking love this. If I was wearing this for the day, I would add a lash for sure. But yeah, I love it. What do you think out of 10? Again, don't do it, actually. I'll stop asking. I'm going to go and take this off and then I'll be back for the final look, the finale. Ta-da! This is going to be the loudest look of them all. We are definitely going to lean right into the 80s vibes, and I will be changing my lip over to the Muse lipstick as well. So I'm going to zoom you in first and let's go. For this one, I'm going to use a different eye wand. I'm going to use the eye wand in Hazelnut, so it's a few steps deeper, but just as easy to use, and as a base, it works just as well, but I do want it to be a little bit more intense. So I'm just going to start by chucking this right on. And then actually, this is a little trick for you. I've not got anything on my brow bone, but I'm going to take sand and I'm just going to go like this. Like painting by numbers. And I'm going to go in with the same brush that I've been using this whole time and I'm just going to start patting that out and giving it a little wiggle. And then you'll see that hazelnut and sand will just blend together up towards the brow. Let's do the same thing to the other eye. So I'm going to go right up, past the crease, right over, get my eye wand and sand and just go carefully under that brow. I'm not too worried if they're not like perfectly even. I'm really just chucking this on. And because they're creams, if you go too low, like I've just done, grab my foundation brush and that'll help me blend because it's got a bit of foundation left on it. So we've got a nice kind of cool toned base to start. Now because I want to go intense with this look, I'm going to go straight in with the darkest colour in the palette, Velvet, on a kind of small-ish blending brush. I'm going to tap that on the outer corner. Kind of the similar shape to what we started with last, like a C shape. Same thing, going in with Velvet, patting it on with that small blending brush. Now I'm going to go in with Merlot. So just to recap, We used these three at the start. For the last look, we used Finery, Source, Merlot, and a bit of Velvet. Now we're going to use Velvet, Mystic, Bow, and Regal. And then that's how she used every colour. So I'm actually going to go in with Bow. This is going to be a fun one. Then I'm going to go in with a really fluffy brush and the shade Mystic, this really gorgeous greige lavender. And I'm going to use that right up here. And this is going to be a biggie. So I'm going to get my hair out the way and I'm going to start blending that up. Back in with Velvet just to re-intensify. And I'm kind of bringing Velvet onto the lid all at the same level so it's not too rounded. So I'm going to go in with the shade Mahogany in the eye wand just as a base for our lower lash line. And I'm actually going to go in my, am I going to go in my waterline? No, I'm not. Under the lash line with Mahogany. And then let's actually use Merlot in the palette with a small brush and we're going to blend out Mahogany eye wand underneath the eye with Merlot. See, if you wanted, you could totally just stop here and have a really beautiful smoky purple eye that's matte, but we're gonna go full on. Happy with that? Let's get purple, baby. I am going to go in with the shade Regal, which is just here. You can see it's really unique. It's quite warm, but it's got blue reflex through it, which is a total contrast. You'll see when it goes on my eye. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go with a classic shader brush and some all-nighter setting spray. And let's just tap this on. And I'm going right up to the crease. And I'm going slightly past the crease as well. And I'm stopping just before the shadow gets dark. And then I'm just gonna get my shader brush and I'm gonna gently wiggle where the shimmer meets the smoky eye, just so it looks good. Let's do an inner corner highlight. I'm gonna use the shade Divine. And we're just gonna really brighten up that inner corner. Always looks good with a smoky eye, I think. Just to slightly warm the eye up, I'm gonna go in with the shade Love. Pull that through the crease, just because I'm about to put a lot of blusher on. I'm gonna be adding lashes, so I'm gonna do a tiny bit of liner. I'm gonna use the KVD Vegan Beauty liner just to give me a slight wing for my lashes to go onto. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's kind of small. Okay, I'm gonna go and add tons of mascara, top and bottom, and a pair of lashes, and I'll be right back. Yes. These are the Vieve half lashes in HL2 Intense. And I've cut tons off, so you really have that half lash effect. And I just, built up my Lash Freak mascara. But I'm gonna zoom you out, and we're gonna change up the look, and we're gonna give you 80s power women, and you're gonna love it. So that is the palette. I hope you love it as much as I do. I'm very excited to see all your looks with it. Let's change up the look. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a lot more blush. My favorite blush to wear with this palette, hands down, is Cherub, which is our pink. I'm gonna start applying that to the apples of the cheeks. This is it. A red lip, a purple eye, and pink cheeks. It's the most makeup, but it's also the freaking best, okay? So I'm just gonna apply that. There we go. And then let's take off this lip and put our Muse lipstick on. I feel like I'm brushing over Muse lipstick, but it's just because it's just such a classic. I'm actually gonna use I've got my towel here from the KJH Spectrum collection, and I'm gonna take my Elemis eye and lip remover, squeeze it onto there, and I'm gonna take my lip off. This lip is just Lip Balm in Brat Modern Lip Definer. Now, before I show you this, I'm going to do another look using the Muse lipstick in a much more traditional way. You know, wearing a red lip with this eye is a lot, but it is my new fave thing, and I just feel like I would be doing the collection injustice. I'm going to put a touch of foundation over my lips. I'm going to use the Muse Modern Lip Definer. I'm not going to show you this. I don't have a final sample. Unfortunately, in the pecking order, in this case, I'm not at the top of the pecking order, so I don't have one. They've been busy getting photographed. So I've got a sample, which has not got the right artwork on it. It is the same formula, our Modern Lip Definers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly overline my lips. I love overlining my lips with a red lip liner, so I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm just going to be really careful to keep it to my lip shape at the sides. And this colour is, I mean, already, it's universal. It is so beautiful. I always take a little bit longer getting my red lip right. I'm going to get a little bit of concealer and a lip brush, and I'm just going to really sharpen those edges up. So I just go around the sides here. And then what I do have finished is Muse Modern Matte Lipstick. Wait until you see this. So same packaging as always, we've just got Muse in the top and this red. Oh! Have you ever seen anything so beautiful in your entire life? Oh my god, I just love it. And I love it, the Vieve embossed, and it just looks so good on the red bullet. And I'm just gonna apply. I need to change the hair, and I actually almost want to put on different clothes because this makeup just warrants it. Hold on 2 seconds. Try and tell me you're not obsessed with this. So like I said, widely aware that not everyone will want to pair these together, but for me, that was the fun of it all. If I do this, you can just see we have the most beautiful red. It's a really nice balanced red that does pull slightly more cool, which makes it just universally flattering. It is so beautiful in everyone, and I'm just so excited for you to get it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Any questions, please do let me know. Let me know as well, is this something that you would rock? I think it is because it's just so bold. Quick side note, the collection launches for VIPs tomorrow. That basically means if you sign up for our emails, you will get an email to your inbox that you will get 24-hour early access to this collection. So you guys, all the details will be down below. I hope you loved it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, make sure I'm nice and neat. My brand Vieve are launching their next collection. I am. It's the tones for me. I just. Wrong way. There we go. Look at that. Already obsessed. Put my phone on airplane mode because it's starting getting text. I've just realised I said I was going to take photos after we look. Have I done that? No, I've not. Will I do it now? No, I won't. Pass a cake, baker's man.